Hello, YouTube. Today is a very different but still quite special video. As today I will be showing you my Doctor Who VHS collection. Yes, it is. I know that it's 2025, but I still have a Doctor Who VHS collection. Actually, I still have got a large VHS collection. I love VHS. These are specifically my Doctor Who VHSs. Now I have tried my best. For those sort of people out there that like me that have things in order to separate these by Doctor and by episode order. So here we go, starting with the third Doctor. I don't have any Hartnell or Troughton ones yet, but starting with the third Doctor, John Pertwee, we have his very first adventure, Spearhead from Space. This is actually also notable as the first story to feature the Autons. There's the spine. There's the back. And there's the tape. I decided I'm going to do something that nobody else has ever done. I'm going to read the blurbs to pretty much all of these videos. So here we go. This is what the back of the Space box says, the blurb. Forbidden to continue his travels through time and space by his fellow Time Lords, the newly regenerated Doctor begins his exile on Earth and finds himself hurled into one of his most exciting and terrifying adventures. But the Doctor is not the only alien intelligence arriving on the planet. A shower of mysterious meteorites signals the coming of the Nestine consciousness, an evil cosmic collective being with just one goal: total conquest of Earth. The Nestines possess a special ability to control plastic and making hordes of Autons, indestructible armed plastic mannequins, only awaiting the Nestine command to start their killer rampage. Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart's scientist Liz Shaw and unit enlist the Doctor's help to defeat the relentless Auton invasion, but the Doctor has problems of his own. That's Spearhead from Space. I do that. Sometimes it gets people excited for the story. Next up, we have another John Pertwee story, Day of the Daleks. And this one is notable because it has it features the Aubrey Woods, who played the sweet shop guy, or Candyman if you like, in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, is in this one as the villain, basically. Here is the blurb for Day of the Daleks. An exciting four-part adventure in which the Doctor, John Pertwee, comes face to face with his oldest and deadliest enemy. World peace hangs in the balance. Sir Reginald Styles, a high-ranking diplomat, is the only person that stands between mankind and a third and final world war. But a mysterious and savage guerrilla force from the 22nd century believes Styles is the agent that shaped their terrifying future and therefore must die. The Doctor and Jo find themselves flung into the guerrillas' world, a brutal dictatorship policed by the merciless and ape-like Ogorons. The Daleks have invaded Earth and enslaved the population and face certain triumph unless the Doctor betrays all he believes in and condones the cold-blooded murder of Styles in an attempt to change the course of history irrevocably. Actually quite a good story, Day of the Daleks. Next up we have another Pertwee story, The Claws of Axos. That's the front. Got the Master in this one. Yes. Side. So it's spine, I should say. And the back. And here's the blurb for The Claws of Axos. There's actually sort of the quote, but I don't know which character said it. But it says here, Axonite will soon spread across the planet. The nutrition cycle will begin. Here's the blurb. A mysterious UFO lands on Earth. The Axons have arrived. Desperate for help and eager to offer in return an exciting gift, Axonite, potentially the most powerful substance man has ever seen, with its powers of duplication, the possibilities for mankind are endless. The Ministry of Defence is delighted, but the Doctor has suspicions. Are the Axons as genuine as they seem? Just what is the Doctor's archenemy, the Master, doing aboard this ship? I haven't actually seen this one yet, so we'll have to watch this at some point. Now, the next one is a third Doctor story I have seen, and it is The Curse of Peladon. There's the back. Alpha Centauri. And there's the spine. I've never been very good at that impression, but I thought I'd give it a go. And here is the blurb for Curse of Peladon. The spirit of Agador has risen again. The spirit of Agador has risen again. The ancient curse of Peladon will be fulfilled. On its way back to Earth, the TARDIS crash lands on Peladon, where strange and violent incidents are threatening to disrupt a conference between visiting delegates from the Galactic Federation and Peladon's king. Is this the feared curse of Peladon, and will it force a galactic war? Having assumed the guise of Earth delegates, the Doctor and his assistant Joe attempted to defuse the political time bomb and to uncover the true identity of the Beast of Peladon, which they suspect is something far more sinister than a mere paranormal apparition. Very good story, Curse of Peladon. And of course had a sequel, Monster of Peladon, which sadly I don't have yet, but we'll be trying to get hold of at some point. Next up, another third Doctor Dalek story, Death of the Daleks. Strangely though, John Pertwee's not on the cover for this one. There's the front, there's the spine, and there's the back. Here's the blurb. In this exciting space adventure, the Doctor, John Pertwee, is forced into a desperate race against time. An inexplicable power loss strands the TARDIS on the sinister planet Exelon, where the Doctor meets an expedition from Earth seeking a rare mineral that can cure the virulent space plague that threatens all human life throughout the galaxy. Nearby, Sarah discovers a mysterious citadel, but is captured by the savage Exelons, who prepare her for sacrifice. The Doctor must uncover the secrets of the ancient Exelon city, locate the source of the power drain, save Sarah and help the Earth expedition, but his plans are threatened by new arrivals on the planet, the Doctor's oldest and deadliest enemies, the Daleks. As soon as you put the word Daleks or Cybermen in the title of your Doctor Who story, you've kind of given away that they're in it. And the last of the third Doctor stories that I have on VHS at the moment is this one, Carnival of Monsters. Borg. The Drashigs. Great big ugly things they are. There's the front, there's the spine, there's the back. And the reason I haven't shown you all the tapes is because they're basically pretty much identical, at the moment they are anyway, to Spearhead. There are a couple later on that I will show you because they're slightly different. And here is the blurb for Carnival of Monsters. The Doctor has promised Joe Grant a holiday on Metebelis 3, but instead of the famous blue planet, the TARDIS materialises on board the SS Bernice. Excuse me. SS Bernice sailing to India in 1926. Before long, the travellers are captured and locked away as stowaways. However, just as their eventual escape brings them face to face with their captors again, who claim never to have seen them before, the ship is attacked by a long-extinct underwater dinosaur. On the planet Interminor, the visiting Lerman entertainer Borg and his assistant Shearner are demonstrating a dilapidated miniscope to the cynical and exophonic governmental ministers who prefer Interminor kept free of aliens. Borg explains that his scope contains actual miniaturized living creatures, including Cybermen, Ogrons, and a group of humans aboard a ship apparently sailing to India. Kalik, one of the Minoran officials, sees an opportunity to exploit the dangers inherent in the scope to frighten the government into implementing his exclusionist policies. The Doctor and Joe discover they are inside the miniscope and leave the SS Bernice via the machine's conduits to find themselves in a marsh populated by ferocious omnivores, Drashigs. Meanwhile, outside the scope, Kalik's machinations have allowed the Drashigs to escape into the real world. I just hope that by reading these blurbs I'm actually sort of exciting at least one or two of you about the stories, and hopefully also making at least 2 or 3 of you go, ooh, I really want to watch that now. Next up, I have the first of my fourth Doctor VHSs, Revenge of the Cybermen. Now, this isn't the original release, but this is famous for being the very first Doctor Who story ever released on VHS, back in, was it 1983, I believe? So there's the front, there's the back, and there's the spine. I've done that one in reverse. And here's the blurb. From the longest running science fiction series in the world emerged a golden age of classic monsters, memorable grotesques such as the Daleks, Ice Warrior, Sontaran, Jetty, and Cybermen. In this adventure, the Doctor, with Sarah and Harry, returns to Space Station Nerva, the scene of the Ark in Space adventure, to find that the TARDIS has drifted back in a few thousand years in time. A plague is raging through the Nerva, which is manned by only a handful of frightened survivors. Sarah falls victim to the mystery virus. The Doctor discovers that the Cybermen have taken over the station in order to use it to destroy the planet Voga, where there are extensive gold mines. They wish to destroy all the gold in the solar system, as it is a deadly metal to them. Will the Doctor manage to defeat the Cybermen and find an antidote to cure Sarah? I have seen this one once, a little while ago, and I seem to remember it being quite good. A lot of people don't like it. I do quite like it. Next up, for the Fourth Doctor, we have Planet of Evil. There's the front, there's the spine, there's the back. Here's the blurb. Here on Zeta Minor is the boundary between existence as you know it and the other universe which you just don't understand. A distress call from the last planet in the known universe forces the TARDIS to commence emergency materialization on Zeta Minor. Simultaneous with the Doctor's arrival is the landing of a spacecraft from the planet Marestra on a rescue mission to recover a missing group of scientists. An expeditionary force from the spacecraft soon uncovers their sinister remains, but who or what has caused their gruesome deaths? Only one scientist, Professor Corenson, has survived, and he is hell-bent on tapping the powerful resources within Zeta Minor to save his own planet, which is slowly dying. But he and his compatriots cannot possibly realise the full extent of the dark forces at work, and so it is left to the Doctor to convince them that Zeta Minor is indeed the planet of evil. Next up we have The Deadly Assassin. A great story, and I think it was one of the first stories that really made Miss Mary Whitehouse stand up and go, no, that show's too violent. Primarily because one of the episodes of this one, one of the cliffhangers was the Fourth Doctor being strangled and pushed underwater in an attempt to drown him by one of the villains, or one of the sort of villain characters, and that made Mary Whitehouse go, no, it's too violent, and that was what began her crusade to try and get this show taken off the air. Of course, eventually it was taken off the air, but not until 1989, and this story was transmitted in '76. So yeah, there's the front, there's the spine. There's the back. One more. Ooh, look at that. Shot there of Tom Baker in Time Lord garb. Love it. There's the front again, once more. Here's the blurb. Suddenly and terribly, the Time Lords face the most dangerous crisis in their long history. A mysterious evil is at work on Gallifrey. The president of the Time Lords has been assassinated, and the Doctor caught red-handed. An inexorable master plan has been set in motion. There can be no escape. Now the Doctor must face the final challenge and the ultimate enemy, with old scores to settle. Of course, that ultimate enemy is a very badly disfigured master. I believe, if I'm right, the reason he's like that is because, we discover in this story, he tried to regenerate beyond the, at the time, firmly established rule of 12. 12 regenerations, 13 bodies, and I think the Master tried to regenerate for a 13th time, and that was what caused his body to become as it was. The next Fourth Doctor story is one of my favourites, actually, The Robots of Death. And they've clearly just copy and pasted the V8, robot V8 there. Was that V3? Oh, it's V3. I saw one of the other covers I saw of this had V8 on it, but no, it's V3. But clearly, over and over and over. There's copy and pasted over and over and over. Or so it would seem. Anyway, there's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And here's the blurb. The Doctor faces a horrific army of merciless machines in another exciting feature-length space adventure from the longest-running science fiction series in the world. On a desolate planet rich in metal ores, a huge sand miner crawls over the barren wastes, scraping the surface for lucanol, one of the most valuable substances in the universe. The skeleton crew are served by their robot staff, efficient, expendable and totally obedient until now. One by one, the human crew are brutally mysteriously eliminated, and suspicion shifts from the crew members themselves to the Doctor and Leela, who have accidentally landed on the planet. But as the true enemy is revealed, the Doctor, Leela, and the remains of the terrified crew find themselves prey to a horde of killer robots, answerable only to an evil scientist determined to see them seize absolute power. Love that story. So excuse me a second, I'm just going to have a quick drink. That's better. Okay. Moving on. Next up we have, is this one of the ones I want to show you? It is. Next up we have The Talons of Weng Chiang. I actually originally saw this one on DVD. Very good. Glad to have it on VHS. So there's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And that's Mr. Sin there, that character, played by Deep Roy. Of course, famously played the Oompa Loompas in the Johnny Depp version of Johnny Depp Tim Burton version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Okay, here's the blurb for The Talons of Weng Chiang. In this feature-length adventure set deep in the darkest heart of Victorian London, the Doctor and Leela are confronted by a series of bizarre and horrific events. An innocent cabbie is viciously slain by the agents of a secret Chinese cult. Young women disappear quietly and suddenly in the depths below. The rankest sewers are infested by giant deadly abominations. The Doctor, helped only by local pathologist Professor Lightfoot and the cowardly Henry Jago, of course of the Jago and Lightfoot Big Finish series, finds himself battling for his life against the hideously deformed Magnus Greel, who pretends to be the ancient Chinese god Weng Chiang. But Greel is not the only menace. The Doctor must also deal with the illusionist Li Hei-sen Chang and the murderous dwarf Mr. Sin, before Leela falls prey to the talons of Weng Chiang. Li Sen Chang, I believe that was. I think they used the word dwarf. It's a little person now, I think. But anyway, I do love how the Doctor was dressed up as Sherlock Holmes. Actually, but in the DVD version of this I watched, in the special features, there was a woman who was an expert in Jack the Ripper, was all Victorian London, Jack the Ripper, and she actually mentioned how one of the posters you see behind the Doctor and Leela in the early moments of the opening episode of this story, is wrong, because it says Jack the Ripper claims 7th victim. And at that time, it was well established that Jack the Ripper only had 5 canonical victims. Oh, sorry, I wanted to show you the tape, because it's slightly different. There you are. An old BBC video there. Next up we have, this is the other one, it is The Pyramids of Mars. This is notable for being the first appearance of Sutekh. I can't officially say that since he came back recently. First appearance of Sutekh. There's the front. There's the spine. I'm loving this. This is something I love doing. There's the back. And here is the blurb for The Pyramids of Mars. The future of the cosmos is at stake as the Doctor faces his most fearsome adversary in another thrilling feature-length space adventure. Returning to Unit HQ on Earth, the TARDIS is thrown violently about by a mysterious force, and Sarah and the Doctor arrive instead at an old priory in the year 1911, a year before the Titanic sank. That's interesting, though she was under construction at the time. The owner, Marcus Scarman, has been excavating ancient tombs and is possessed by the spirit of Sutekh, bringer of the gift of death to all mankind. Sutekh has lain for thousands of years in his pyramid prison, and Scarman and his robot mummies plan to release this ancient and evil power. Will Sutekh, the all-powerful, be freed from his bonds and destroy the world, or will the Doctor manage to bring about his destruction? I have actually seen this story and it is very good. Although I saw it, I believe I first saw this, not on its own DVD, but as an extra on one of the Sarah Jane Adventures DVDs. I seem to remember. Now I've got a slightly out of episode order here, but that's fine. Next up, we have The Keeper of Traken, Tom Baker's penultimate story, so second to last. There's the front, and this was actually released for the special edition released for the 30th anniversary in 1993, the year I was born. Hooray! Yes, that means I'm 32 this year. I'm an old sod, I know. There's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And also, before I read the blurb, this story is notable as being is notable for being the first appearance of Anthony Ainley as the Master. So there you go. And here's the blurb. The power of the Keeper is almost ours. Only the Doctor can destroy all that we have planned. He must be found. The Empire of Traken. Oh, and also another thing this is notable for is being the first appearance of Nyssa. The Empire of Traken has lived in total harmony for over 1,000 years, governed by the Sacred Keeper and his loyal consults, until now. Fading fast, the Keeper calls the Doctor and Adric to Traken, fearing the impending disintegration of his world and the onset of a terrible evil. For the malignant presence of the Melka lurks close by, growing stronger, plotting to replace the Keeper upon his death. The Doctor must stop it before it gains control of the energy that sustains the very life of the planet. But just who is controlling the Melka? The Doctor smells a rat of the very oldest kind. This is the first appearance of Anthony Ainley as the Master, and also the first appearance of Sarah Sutton as Leela. Sarah Sutton, fun fact, she was born in Basingstoke Hospital, which is actually the same hospital that I was taken to back in 2005 when I broke my right leg. So there you go, that's my little link to Doctor Who for you. And finally, for the Tom Baker stories in my VHS collection, although I should have shown this one immediately after Revenge of the Cybermen, I'm an idiot, because I was supposed to be going in episode order and I forgot, is this double pack of the Sontaran Experiment and the Genesis of the Daleks. Even it says down there, look, double video pack. There's the front, there's the spine, which actually has 2 photos on it, and there's the back. So I actually now have 2 small blurbs to read for this one. Here we go. So this is the blurb for the Sontaran Experiment. So before I do that, I forgot to show you Pyramids of Mars, didn't I? The actual tape, because it's an older BBC video sticker again, because it's green. Sorry about that, I keep going off track. Right. No more going off track, Amy. Concentrate, keep it together. Okay. The blurb for the Sontaran Experiment. Earth, 10,000 years hence, and life has been extinguished. Or has it? The Doctor, Sarah Jane and Harry find themselves in the Piccadilly Circus of the future, where the mysterious alien in the rocks rules. Then the Doctor bumps into an old enemy and finds himself part of a lethal experiment. And I love how they don't actually give away the enemy as the Sontarans. Whoops, spoiler alert. And now here is the blurb for Genesis of the Daleks, which obviously has the Daleks in it. Back on the dreaded Skaro again, the Doctor's on a mission from the Time Lords themselves. Simple enough. All he has to do is destroy the Daleks before they evolve and face their evil creator. And of course, Genesis of the Daleks is famous for being the first ever appearance in Doctor Who of Davros. There you go. Right, moving on, we now have my 5th Doctor adventures, beginning with one of my favourites, but also probably one of the saddest Doctor Who stories ever broadcast because of its ending, purely Earthshock. Also, the return of the Cybermen after a good long period of absence from the show. Because I believe the last time they appeared before this was Revenge of the Cybermen. So there you go. Earthshock. There's the front. And of course, it kind of gives away the Cybermen in here because they're right there on the front cover. And there's Adric, bless him. R.I.P. Adric. The character, not the actor. Matthew Waterhouse is still alive and well. I just meant R.I.P. Adric, the character. There's the front. There's his broken star. There's the spine. There's the back. And here is the blurb for Earthshock. So we meet again, Doctor. That's literally the Cyberman in the top saying that. A fateful landing on Earth in the 26th century finds the TARDIS deep within a system of subterranean caves, and even deeper within the mystery surrounding the brutal murder of a group of genealogists working there. Who is controlling the androids guarding the hatch in the rock face? More importantly, what lies beyond the hatch? The answers provide a serious threat for the Doctor, as the time and place is set for an encounter with his old arch enemies, the Cybermen. His old arch enemies, the Cybermen, are well and truly back. And one of my this actually contains one of my favourite exchanges of dialogue ever between the Doctor and the Cybermen. And so when the Doctor's brought before this, in one of the scenes, I can't remember if it's episode 2 or 3, I think, the Doctor's brought before the Cybermen, and the Cyber leader says, "Your TARDIS has been found, Doctor." To which Peter Davison replies, "I didn't know it was lost." Love it. Just the way it's just like, "Your TARDIS has been found, Doctor." I didn't know it was lost. So, yeah. Earthshock. Great little story. Next up we have, it's actually a 5th Doctor story I can't comment on too much because I've never seen it. Snake Dance. Although I did read the blurb earlier, but Sorry. I did read the blurb. Oh my life, my camera's sodding off. I did read the blurb earlier, but I will read it again for you guys. Snake Dance. There's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And also, I did notice from the back there, it actually has Martin Clunes in it. So anyway, here's the blurb for Snake Dance. We're not supposed to be here. Suddenly, Tegan must have made a mistake. Surely Tegan must have made a mistake when she said the TARDIS coordinates, because the Doctor certainly hadn't intended landing on Manusa. But upon learning that Manusa was once home of the Sumaran Empire, the Doctor knows that their arrival has been no accident, but has been orchestrated by a hostile force, a force which is rapidly gaining control of Tegan's will, by first infiltrating Tegan's subconscious mind through strange and disturbing dreams, dominated by the image of a huge snake's skull. This force, the Mara, is planning on using Tegan as a vehicle for its return to power on the planet Manusa. So just as Manusa prepares festivities to commence the destruction of the Sumaran Empire by the ruling Federation, it seems that the legend of the Mara could be about to come true. According to this legend, the Mara has never destroyed the Federation, but merely was never destroyed by the Federation, but merely banished. Furthermore, the legend claims that the Mara will return in a dream, a precursor to its gaining control of all their minds. It is clear to the Doctor that the first steps in the Mara's return have already been taken. That's actually excited me. I really want to watch that now. And I will, later on. Next up, the Fifth Doctor's stories I have on VHS is, again, another one that I've never seen. I have heard of the title of this story, but I've never seen it, and it's called The King's Demons. And it seems to feature the Master, if this box is anything to go by. There's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And here is the blurb for The King's Demons. We sing in praise of total war against the Saracen Weabor. It is 13th century England, and King John is visiting the castle stronghold of Sir Ranulph Fitzwilliam. Ranulph's personal fortune has dwindled away, freely donated to King John to help from the crusade. While staying with Ranulph, the king's greed is criticised by the Baron's headstrong son, Hugh. As a result, Hugh is challenged to a duel by the monarch's enigmatic French knight-at-arms, Sir Giles Estrom, a duel the young Englishman has little hope of surviving. When the TARDIS materialises and disturbs the joust, the Doctor's party are proclaimed friendly demons by the King, who seems strangely interested in their blue engine. Before long, the Doctor becomes embroiled in court politics, and he realises that there is far more to the situation than a simple battle of honour between nobles. Ranulph's cousin, Sir Geoffrey de Lancey, arrives at the castle and is astonished to find the King present. He has just left His Majesty in London, preparing to sign the Magna Carta, a document that will shape the future of democracy in the Western world. The Doctor learns that neither the King nor Sir Giles Estrom are exactly who they claim, and that their true identities involve a battle-ravaged alien planet light years away, and one of the Doctor's oldest and deadliest enemies. Clearly, that's referring to the Master. I just need to have another quick drink. Next up we have another Fifth Doctor story. I think I've got two more. Sorry, there's three more Fifth Doctors after this one. We have the Five Doctors, notable for being the first appearance of Omega, who I didn't realise actually came back in was it another Fifth Doctor story he reappeared in, I think. Anyway, Five Doctors. No, wait, ignore that, I'm wrong. Five Doctors, no Omega. So Three Doctors was the first appearance of Omega. Naughty boy. The Five Doctors not notable for anything really, although it is notable for having Richard Hurndall. It does say and William Hartnell on the back here. William Hartnell was ever in this, was he? Well, it says here, Peter Davison, John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton with Richard Hurndall, Tom Baker and William Hartnell in the Five Doctors. I know Tom Baker only appeared in like a bit of stock footage because he refused to come back. But anyway, so there's the front. Yeti, Cybermen, Daleks. There's the spine. There's the back. Excuse me. And here is the blurb for the Five Doctors. Being diminished, whittled away piece by piece. A man is the sum of his memories, you know. A Time Lord even more so. Someone is taking the Doctor's past selves out of time and space, placing them in a vast wilderness, a battle arena with a sinister tower at its centre. As the various incarnations of the Doctor join forces, they learn they are in the death zone on their home world of Gallifrey. Fighting Daleks, Cybermen, Yeti, and a devious Time Lord traitor who is using the Doctor and his companions to discover the ancient secrets of Rassilon, the first and most powerful ruler of Gallifrey. Which is supposed to be the first appearance of Rassilon. I could be wrong. That's it, that's the blurb. Sorry, I was just reading something on the back, which has no reference to the blurb at all. Sorry. Yeah. There we go. That's the Five Doctors. Omega was the Three Doctors. I'm such an idiot. Next up, we have another one of my favourite Fifth Doctor stories. Except features the return of one of my favourite classic villains. Actually features the Sea Devils and the Silurians, I believe. Warriors of the Deep. There's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And here is the blurb. These human beings will die as they have lived, in a sea of their own blood. The year is 2084, and two power blocks are poised on the brink of war. Using a series of undersea complexes and deep space satellites, each block carefully monitors the other's movements, slowly edging towards the moment where one will launch an all-out nuclear attack on the other. Arriving on Seabase 4, the Doctor, Tegan and Turlo are rapidly drawn into the web of intrigue which enmeshes the era's paranoid political manoeuvrings. Not everyone on board the base is working for the same team, and the officer directly responsible for implementing the base's nuclear capability has died in mysterious circumstances. Amid this already tense atmosphere, the crew of Seabase 4 faces an even greater threat to mankind. The Silurians and the Sea Devils, prehistoric reptile men who went into hibernation millions of years before, have reawoken and intend to launch another attempt to reclaim the Earth from humanity. The Doctor must tackle enemy sabotage and face the Merker, a giant marine monster. But can he prevent the Silurians from implementing their final solution, launching the missiles to start a war that threatens to wipe out the human race? God, it's warm, isn't it? Must be nuts for doing this. Well, when I say nuts, I mean nuts for doing this in the way that I'm doing it, reading all the blurbs, but, you know, it's fun. Next up we have, again, another Fifth Doctor story I've never seen. Resurrection of the Daleks. And it's one of those ones that was released for the 30th anniversary in 93. Ten of Davros. There's the front. Oh, God, I've got my fingers over there. There's the spine. There's the back. And here's the blurb for Resurrection of the Daleks. Once the Doctor is exterminated, I shall build a new race of Daleks. We shall be even more deadly. Excuse me. Captured in a time corridor, the Doctor and his companions are forced to land on 20th century Earth, diverted by the Doctor's oldest enemy, the Daleks. It is here that the true purpose of the time corridor becomes apparent. After 90 years of imprisonment, Davros, the ruthless creator of the Daleks, is to be liberated to assist in the resurrection of his army. But not even the Daleks foresee the poisonous threat presented by their creator. Indeed, who would suspect Davros of wanting to destroy his own Daleks, and why? Only the Doctor knows the truth, but will he be capable of descending to Davros' level of evil in order to stop him? Again, another Fifth Doctor story I haven't seen yet. Next up, and the last of my Fifth Doctor stories, and this is definitely a Fifth Doctor story that I've seen. I'm just checking those are all, yeah, they are all good. And it is The Caves of Androzani, once voted the best Doctor Who story of all time. Sharaz Jek. There's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And of course, this is notable for being the first appearance of Colin Baker as the 6th Doctor, and the final appearance of Peter Davison as the 5th. Here's the blurb. Curiosity's always been my downfall. Sounds like the story of my life. Captured for arms running on the mining planet of Androzani Minor, I should say, the Doctor and Peri are under sentence of death. Then a mysterious masked intruder comes to their aid. But is Sharaz Jek, Master Android Creator, really their saviour? The rulers of the planet are certainly desperate for his head, but then he does control Androzani's supply of Spectrox, and it's a substance men are prepared to die for. Next up, I'll be showing you my one and only 6th Doctor adventure that I have on VHS. However, it is rather a special one. Yep. For those of you that have recognised this already, good for you, well done. For those of you who don't, I shall tell you now, this is actually The Trial of a Time Lord. And this is the special 30th anniversary edition of Trial of a Time Lord that was released in this limited edition tin, although I can't seem to find a number. I did look all over this earlier. Videos in this pack are not available separately. Lovely. Yes, so anyway, this thing, oh, yeah, that's weird. Never mind. Oh, no, there is, sorry. So yes, it actually contains Trial of a Time Lord. If I open it, I'll just show you the top there, you can see it says Trial of a Time Lord. I will take it out to show you. Let's take a close look at the top of that tin, by the way. I'm just amazed that the tin is still intact because, well, these tins are known to rust. So, gently tip the tin up, the box, put the hardest to the side. Here it is, The Trial of a Time Lord. There's the front, side, top, the bottom where there's really not much, and the back. Now this contains 3 videos. Video 1 is The Mysterious Planet, video 2 is Mind Warp, and video 3 is Terror of the Vervoids and the Ultimate Foe. This is actually 14, but it's all Trial of a Time Lord. It's all Trial of a Time Lord Part 1, Part 2. So this actually has 14 parts. This is a 14-part story, and it's the single longest Doctor Who story ever broadcast. There you go. Anyway, here's the blurb for The Trial of a Time Lord. Gentlemen, may I remind you that this is a court of law and not a debating society for maladjusted psychotic sociopaths. Fair enough. Thus speaks the Inquisitor in an attempt to establish some order at the High Council of the Time Lord's trial of the Doctor. Charged with having engaged in conduct unbecoming to a Time Lord, the Doctor must defend his honour, reputation and indeed his life in the face of damning accusations from the Valeyard. Supported by irrefutable evidence from the Matrix, the High Council's record of activities of all the Time Lords, the case against the Doctor seems watertight. From the mysterious planet of Ravalox to an encounter with Lord Kiv on the planet Thoros Beta, and on to an intergalactic space liner in the year 2986, the Doctor's activities seem at best to have been unnecessary, and at worst to have recklessly endangered the lives of others, including his 2 assistants, Peri and Mel. Yes, because Trial of a Time Lord is supposed to have been the last appearance of Peri in Mind Warp, and the first appearance of Mel in Terror of the Vervoids. But who exactly is this prosecutor known as the Valeyard? Excuse me. Can the Council believe the evidence provided by the Matrix? And indeed, should the Doctor trust the High Council of the Time Lords to provide a fair trial? Now, it does say on the back here that that this is exclusively available in this special limited edition tin to commemorate the programme's 30th anniversary. However, I have found some evidence on this that would suggest that they were released at one point, planning on releasing it just as this. Try to see the evidence? Have a look at the back. What's that? There, what's that right there? It's a barcode, which would suggest to me that at some point they were planning on releasing Child of a Time Lord just like this. Then they decided, nope, let's put it in a nice swanky special limited edition TARDIS tin and release it exclusively for the 30th anniversary. And that's what they did. says, desperately trying to get the lid back on. So that's the only Sixth Doctor story so far that I have in my collection, but it is one of the best. I love Trial of a Time Lord. Okay, and lastly we have 4 Seventh Doctor adventures, beginning with, she was one of my favourite Seventh Doctor adventures because it started on my favourite comedy actors, the late great Richard Briers, Paradise Towers. There's the front. There's the spine. There's the back. And here is the blurb for Paradise Towers. A visitor? It must be a long time since the tower saw any of those. Built towards the end of the 21st century, Paradise Towers is a massive housing block stretching up towards the sky with its beautiful decor, smart apartments, fantastic facilities and high standards of maintenance. It is hardly surprising that the architect Caragnon won many professional awards. Mel wants to go swimming, and as the TARDIS pool has been jettisoned due to a leak, Paradise Towers seems to fit the bill. However, when she and the Doctor arrive, instead of the bright squares and charming cloisters the brochure promised, they find dark, rat-infested corridors full of uncontrollable cleaning machines, undisciplined street gangs, and overworked and belligerent caretakers, some of whom are disappearing in mysterious circumstances. What has caused such terrible decay? How could such perfect accommodation have become so run down and dangerous? And why do the streetwise Kangs and apathetic caretakers, sinister Rezzies and Pecks, the self-appointed warrior who puts the word of Paradise Towers, Paradise Towers to rights, all fear whatever terrible force dwells in the basement? Only the unpredictable chief caretaker knows what is down there, and the real secret behind the disappearances. This also features, not just Richard Briers, but also features Judy Cornwall, who played Daisy, keeping up appearances. She plays one of the sort of supporting characters. In fact, there they are together, Richard Briers and Judy Cornwall. Next up we have, now I should warn you about this one. It's Remembrance of the Daleks, but it does look, I will admit, a little bit odd. Let me explain why. This was actually originally, as you can probably tell from the way it's been butchered a bit, in a wooden slip case. You can probably tell that from the back, where it's got this little indent. However, I didn't like the way that looked against all the other hard clamshell video cases. So I took the video out. This was the one released for the 30th anniversary in the tin along with the chase. Although I don't have the tin or the chase. So I got this in the charity shop at the same time as I got that 4th Doctor double pack. So I took the cardboard slipcase, took the video out, very carefully opened up the case, flattened it out, and I very carefully, as you can see, cut the case into 3. So I was left with the front, the back, and the spine. I then put them in here accordingly, and it now looks like this. There's the front, there's the spine, and there's the back. There's a line in this that I love by the Doctor where he's going on a Davros and he's like, "We will conquer their lesser races, become rulers of the galaxy," and then he goes, "Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc." Great line. Anyway, here's the blurb for Remembrance of the Daleks. Doctor, my men have just put 3 highly explosive grenades into a confined area. Nothing remotely human could have survived that. But as the Doctor informs Group Captain Gilmore, the hostile aggressor which has already killed one of his men is not remotely human. For London in 1963 is to be the allotted place and time for a further encounter between the Doctor and his most feared enemy, the Daleks. Accompanied by a streetwise teenager from the 1980s called Ace, the Doctor must prevent the Daleks from capturing the Hand of Omega, the key to control of time. But for this crucial encounter, the Daleks pose a double sinister threat, for the Hand of Omega is sought by 2 opposed Dalek factions, the Renegade Daleks and the Imperial Daleks. Why are the Daleks splintered into these 2 factions, and what or who is controlling them? These are the questions the Doctor must solve if he is to retain control of time itself. You can tell again there, this little indent that was originally a cardboard slipcase. I only did that because I was like, I wanted it to be in a hard shell, clamshell box, so then it's kept safer for longer, and this was the only way I could do it. And I'm really sorry to anybody that is, wincing at this, but as you can see, I didn't do too bad of a job. I did it fairly neatly. And anybody that is kind of offended by this or has been driven mad by this, I really do apologise. But this is literally just, literally just the way I've done it for my collection. You can keep it in whatever way you like in your collection, but this is the way I want it in mine. So, yeah. The second to last one I have here is, for the 7th one, anyway, The Curse of Fenric. And this one says up here in the corner, contains new material not originally broadcast. Again, this is a story I've never actually seen. So, apparently it's quite a good one. There's the front, there's the spine, and there's the back. And here is the blurb for The Curse of Fenric. The Doctor and Ace are put to the ultimate test when the TARDIS dematerialises in Second World War England at a top-secret naval base. The army church built on Viking graves bears inscriptions calling for the wolves of Fenric to return for their treasure. Thereafter, evil will reign. Even as the Doctor translates the words, hideous corpses rise up from the sea, the evil Fenric now free to summon his wolves to a killing rampage. With a new slant on Dr. Judson and a more substantial confrontation between the ancient Haemavor and the Doctor, this especially extended production of The Curse of Fenric brings additional excitement to the story originally broadcast. Good standing against evil, with only the Doctor to play the final moves. And the last one two VHS I have, for now, is the very last, it's actually the very last Doctor Who story, the very last story ever transmitted during the classic era, Survival. Of course, again featured the return of Anthony Ailey's Master. There's the front. This is the one where the Master famously becomes half cat. But again, I've never seen this one yet, so I've got to watch it. Limited edition postcards I do have, but they're over there in the limited edition postcards collector's binder holder thing, which I'm not going to show in this video. That's for a later video. Survival. There we go. There's the front. There's the spine. And there's the back. And here's the blurb for Survival. Life's not a game. I'm teaching you the art of survival. I'm teaching you to fight back. The Doctor takes Ace back home to Perivale so she can catch up with her old friends. But Perivale has changed. The old gang has split up, and some of them have vanished without trace. They are not the only ones. West London is plagued by unexplained disappearances. Before long, the mysterious kidnappers make themselves known. A race of galactic hunters called the Cheetah People have found a way to transport themselves to Earth, and the entire human race is their prey. They have been shown the doorway to the planet by an old foe of the Doctor, a bitter and desperate enemy who needs the Doctor's help to free him from a diabolic enchantment. As the Doctor tries to unravel the mystery, Ace finds some of her old friends trapped on the savage and beautiful world of the Cheetah People. The only way she can lead them to safety is to allow herself to succumb, like so many before her, to the curse of the planet. The Doctor realises that Ace's new powers will provide the only route home, but it will mean the sacrifice of her humanity to the most bestial and dark side of human nature. And that's it. Excuse me, a quick drink. That is it. That is my entire Doctor Who VHS collection. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope that my reading those blurbs has sort of encouraged excited one or two of you into thinking, at least some of you into thinking, oh, I want to go and watch that story now, or oh, I want to go and give that a try now. See if I can get into it. I can only but hope, eh? There will be more videos to come, of course, over the coming days and weeks and months and years even. So yeah, so until next time, thank you for watching. Look after each other, be good to yourselves, take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.